The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzy, and I'm joined by a guy who golfed at Citizens Bank Park last Saturday night. Regzy Boo, how was it, buddy?
It was good. Always a good time.
Who'd you end up taking?
I took my oldest son, Cole.
Nice.
Yep. I mean, he's not good enough at golf. He couldn't reach most of the things, but I think he enjoyed being able to hit golf balls into the outfield of his favorite baseball stadium. So we had a good night. He got some crab fries, which he was very excited about. Yeah, it was a good time.
That's awesome. How'd you do?
I did okay. I seem to be the greatest golfer in the world when I go to that thing. I don't know what it is. I still did pretty good. Did you do closest to the pin thing? I did. I did not repeat my performance from last year. No, I did not repeat my performance in that particular contest. I did pretty good on the regular shots, like out, in the stadium. Yeah.
Would you get to eat?
I went cheesesteak with onions, man. Yeah.
I think that's what I did last year too. I can't remember though.
I mean, he got chicken fingers and fries to start and then got crab fries for the road. Like he brought them in the car while we were driving back. So
I mean, that's nice.
He was pretty happy. Yeah. He was pretty happy.
That's nice. That's fine. I missed you. Thought about texting you and shouting out my jealousy, but didn't do it.
Oh, you could have.
Now they're doing the sleep at the ballpark thing.
I saw that. Yeah.
And is that to raise money for like homeless?
I believe it was something like that. Yeah. Like,
okay. Cause apparently there are players there.
Yeah. I think it was for like I can't remember the exact name of the
organization.
Yeah. Let me see. Somebody tweeted it and then I'll find it very quickly.
It's a pretty cold night.
Covenant House. It was for like kids.
Covenant
it was like
House.
Kids homelessness. Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a pretty cold night.
I know. I think they were saying they're like sleeping on the field, like in the outfield or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I think they are.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think they are.
And pretty cool. That's awesome.
I mean, it's awesome. And good for the Phillies for doing it.
I know you never did Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts or anything, but one of the big things with Cub Scouts when I was a kid was every once in a while, all the troops from like South Jersey and Philadelphia, you could go and sleep in oh God, what's it called? You could sleep in good Lord, I'm having a brain fart. It's where my wedding was. Franklin Institute.
Oh, the Franklin Institute.
Yeah. And you could stay, you stayed over, and it's just like hundreds of kids and like a bunch of dads who are trying to keep them all from touching all this stuff that's in there overnight. And it was pretty cool if you got to sleep in like one of the exhibits and hang out for a day or two.
Did you get to sleep in the big heart?
I don't think I ever had the heart room. I feel like I was never in the heart room. I was somewhere else. The one or two times I can remember doing it.
Well, listen, I think it's great that they're doing it. It's the only action that Citizens Bank Park is having right now. It's the only action happening in baseball, apparently, unless you're the Atlanta Braves who like to set the market on guys. We're not really going to talk any baseball or basketball tonight. We're really going to focus on the football team. But I do want to say, why are the Braves the way they are?
I don't know.
Like to establish the reliever market at 1 year, $16 million.
That seemed like a lot for him too.
He was not good last year. I mean, he got better as the year went on, but 16.5 million. I mean, he's got to be he's in his late 30s at this point.
Yeah. So that means what? Edwin Diaz is going to want like 19.
I mean, well, Edwin Diaz is going to end up a Dodger. He's going to close for the Dodgers. I'm pretty convinced of that.
But like, if you're paying Iglesias 16, what are you paying Edwin
Well,
Diaz? Like,
it takes Diaz out of the market. Probably takes Fairbanks out of the market. It takes Devin Williams out of the market. Like, these are all guys who, you know, are probably going to make in that $15 million area now.
that's wild. What relievers are making that much right now?
I don't know. That the Phillies kind of have a bargain on you know, Strahm and Alvarado at like 7.5 and 9, and a real bargain on Banks at 1.
Yeah.
So
even Duran, what's Duran making? Like 9?
I don't even know if he's making that.
Is it not even that?
I don't know his arbitration number, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at it. It's probably on my spreadsheet.
I'm going to look it up while we're talking about it.
Well, you know, I know we said we weren't going to talk about him, but I've seen the rumors of the Phillies potentially dealing one of the lefties. I saw Gelb talking about it, and honestly, Regz, I don't think I would hate dealing Matt Strahm. I don't know that that would bother me a whole lot.
It would depend on what we could get, for sure. I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't like, God, he was missing spots by a lot, like all the time. But
you know, velocity was down most of the season.
Yeah.
It kind of was a no-show in the postseason again. You know, he's got a year left, $7.5 million. At $7.5 million, you might be able to get 2, you know, dart throws in the bullpen.
They're estimated Duran at 8 this year.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, for that guy, 8 seems like
right.
A steal and a half.
This is his last year. So yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like a wild overpay for that kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That track record, like, who's been to, like, yes, I know he kind of pulled it together towards the end of last year, but like, you got to think he's trending more towards not being that good than being elite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I again, we're not going to spend a ton of time on the baseball team. I mean, that was pretty much it. I was just throwing out there, like, for a team that wants to expand on their bullpen, that's probably coming via trade. You know, they might have a couple of dart throws, like I said. If Helsley can be had cheap, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I was thinking, and this is from a Nick Castellanos standpoint, I know I said, you know, that I think the Phillies need to eat 15. I kind of take it back. I kind of take it back. I think the Phillies can eat 10 and get away with it. Keep in mind, Max Kepler made $10 million.
That was a very good point that the High Hopes boys made.
Yeah,
on their
like,
pod.
what are we doing here? And right-handed bats are even less at a premium,
right?
Than left-handed bats. I think the dream for one of the Angels outfielders is off the table now that Ward has been traded. So I really don't know where the Phillies are going to get the changes from at this point. And look, maybe it's a Max Luzardo. I do that all the time. Jesus Luzardo type of thing. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see and ride it out.
I mean, it's the Angels, for God's sakes. Like, you got to think for the right price they would give him up. I don't know what that is and like how much I'd really be willing to give for Joe Adele, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Baseball's so weird with how it works and how this stuff works. Like, there's just a bunch of teams that are like terrible at this, that like, you never know it's going to take for somebody, or like what somebody would be willing to take for somebody else, or what owner decides like, nope, that's it. Like, we're taking that for that guy, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, again, the Pirates being rumored to want Kyle Schwarber. Like, yeah, that's just because Manfred called him and said, you have to do something.
Well, yeah, and apparently they offered what's his name from Seattle, Naylor, like 80 million.
Yeah, right.
Which okay. Like,
God, it's gonna suck
I
when
mean that
Paul Skeens is a Dodger in 3 years.
yeah, or a Yankee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Reds are out there, throwing their quote unquote
Yeah,
weight around
right.
about Schwarber too. We all know that's not, the Reds probably have about $40 million to spend. You think they're going to spend 30 on Kyle Schwarber? Unlikely.
I also like the fact that
I don't want to spend 30
it's
on Kyle Schwarber.
the fact that it's already out there that somebody is offering $30 million. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't even know who that would be.
I'd rather do the Kyle Tucker deal.
Oh, for sure.
Why would you want to pay Kyle Schwarber $30 million a year?
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why they would want to do it. But I don't know that I can get behind those reasons. I think there's other things that they can do, places they can spend that money and not have a 38-year-old DH.
That's what I mean. Like, go get Kyle Tucker for $30 million.
And it's the transit. He's the next old guy that transitions the next new guard. Like that's, I don't know. I mean, I'm look, I think we're in a place where we're going to be sort of chasing our tails for the next, few weeks.
Yeah.
One other piece of news that I think we can just talk about quickly and then jump ahead. Jeff Passan seems to think that JT's living in the 2-year deal range, which I think the Phillies will gladly do.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So, I think that's fantastic. If his market is 2 years, that certainly makes it palatable for the Phillies to bring him back until they find, the replacement. I know we had our hopes and our sights set on someone a little younger, but if you're not going to bring back Kyle, I think it's really important that you bring back JT. I think one of those two guys has to be.
I think 2 years is perfectly fine.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think one of those two has to be back. And if you're looking at your, like your monetary output here and those resources and the allocation of all of that, it makes more sense for the catcher.
Right.
Who's elite at that position still, at least from a defensive standpoint. And you try and shore up the offense in other ways. And, maybe you don't spend big on this year's. I don't know. I don't know.
Or maybe, like you said, it's Bo Bichette or and then some
Alex
other
Bregman
right and some other things and
a trade or two. But I think at the end of the day, I've said it a million times and I'm going to say it a million more. It's the most interesting offseason in our lifetime.
Yeah.
It simply is. I don't think there's a bigger offseason to show us what this team is about, what this organization is about. I know. I don't. Regz, did you see the John Stolness tweet about like Schwarber in comparison to Pujols?
No.
So basically what he did was he likened the situation, and he might have gotten it from somewhere, I can't remember, but he likened the situation to Pujols going to the Angels, like the Cardinals letting him go when the number got to be too big, even though he did so much for the organization. And it's safe to say Kyle's done a lot for the Phillies. I stand by that this team didn't make a playoff when Bryce Harper was signed. They made the playoff when Kyle Schwarber was signed. But I also think there's a line in the sand that you have to draw.
Yeah.
And, $30 million for a DH is just wild. And he's never going to hit 60 home runs in a season.
Right.
Again.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, the 30 million comes from past performance. The 30 million comes from clubhouse leadership, which I think is great. I think it's important. I know how much they love him, but I just don't know that they can love him at 30 million a year for 5 or 6 years.
I think that would be terrible. I think that would be really bad.
Look what happened to Pujols when he went to Anaheim. Like he kind of fell off the face of the earth. I mean, he's one of the greatest baseball players of our lifetime, but things fell apart for him. And, I know people think Kyle is going to hit well into his 30s, and I have a hard time disagreeing. I just think the hand speed is the hand speed. I I'm just really having a hard time.
I know it's just
And
it's a lot.
but it's also like I don't know where you replace the offense. So there's just so many questions, and we don't have any of the answers right now. There's a chance that the Phillies could have like 6 new guys in their starting lineup in March, and we might have to be okay with that.
Yep.
Might have to be okay with that. So, but in the meantime, we have a football team that is both 8-2 and maddening all at once. It's it is they are the Jekyll and Hyde in one locker room. The defense is one thing, the offense is another thing. The defense is happy, the offense is miserable. It is like they are 2 different teams.
Yep.
Functioning in one place.
Yep.
Or maybe malfunctioning in one place. Look, let's talk about the Lions game. And do you want to start with the good or the bad? Where do you want to start?
The good.
All right. This truly, so when people talked about the 2023 team and how this team reminds them of that, I just need to once more remind everybody that that team did not have Vic Fangio. Thanks to Jonathan Gannon being an asshole. They could have had Vic Fangio.
They could have, yep.
But they didn't. And Vic Fangio might not ever be allowed to have a bye week again. because when they come out of a bye week, he's a totally different monster. It's like he self-scouts better than any coach we've ever had. I mean, he just self-scouts so well, makes 1 or 2 little nuance changes, and boom, they're an entirely different defense. And let me just give you an example. The Adoree Jackson sort of change that he's made. He's asking Adoree to make like 3 or 4 plays a game. And the quarterback doesn't know when it's going to happen. Like he sets up the quarterback by most of the game having a safety over top of Adoree. But then 3 or 4 snaps in a game, he rotates that safety into covering the middle of the field, and Adoree's one-on-one, and they've got the shadow over top of Quinyon. And the quarterback just doesn't know. The pass breakup in this last game was that on the big, I don't remember if it was 3rd or 4th down, but he broke up a pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown on the sideline. And that's exactly what they did. Watching the tape back, he had Reed over top of him, but Reed actually rolled into the middle of the field, and Makuba was over top of Quinyon. And Golf almost didn't know what to do and threw the ball anyway into one-on-one, thinking, oh, I got him. But Adoree knew this was the play. This was the play he had to make. Every other time he's got help. This is the play he's got to make. Also, Nakobe Dean. That's the other part of this. And so let me say this, and then I want your thoughts on what you're noticing with the defense. Obviously up front, they're totally different right now. The Nolan Smith addition, even though he's in limited snaps, has been good. Brandon Graham's been fantastic. And I don't even know if there are enough words in the English language to describe the impact that Jalen Phillips has made. But Nakobe Dean is playing at a level that I didn't think was possible. This guy, I didn't think we were going to see him this year, one.
Yeah.
And then, he's coming back. All right, well, he's going to get limited snaps. He'll be fine. He's already a limited athlete. And this injury is going to, take away whatever athleticism he had. And here he is running with Jahmyr Gibbs and Williams, like 2 of the fastest players in football. And he's running like the angle he took on the Gibbs play was insane.
Yeah.
To be able to stay with him down the sideline, and that he's blitzing and Jared Goff is just, and he's running over like David Montgomery, who's a freaking brick. He's just running through him, throwing him to the side. And Goff's like, don't touch me, don't touch me. It's like Little Giants. Man, they really, it's tough because he's gone after this year. And they're kind of pigeonholed. You know, they drafted Campbell, who's fantastic, and they signed Zach Bond, who's fantastic. But goodness, when Nakobe Dean's playing at this kind of level, he is a difference maker.
Yeah.
He is an absolute difference.
I mean, really the only thing that is really stopping them from resigning is like the injury stuff. Like he just keeps unfortunately getting hurt, which is a bummer because for a guy who a lot of people thought couldn't maybe be that impactful, like he's such a good run defender. He just blows holes up. And then unfortunately, like Jihad isn't there yet. Jihad's still getting stuck in blocks and like not, you know, setting edges or maybe not being as decisive. And like this was Nakobe all of last year, like before he got hurt. He was so decisive and so good at reading those run plays and just blowing them up like all the time. That allowed like Bond to make a bunch of tackles and other guys to get there because he was always in the right spot or always putting pressure on the guy blocking him and not allowing the hole to open up. And I think, you know, we hope that Campbell will get there. And he's, you know, and he's been good, but I think he's a rookie, right? There are some flaws. There are things that he has to get better at. But when you see Nakobe playing like this, you're like, man, being able to rotate those guys like in and out is such a luxury because you can. We were talking about this, like, you know, Jihad and Makuba still have their rookie plays once or twice a game. They just have really bad plays where they're in the wrong, you know, they're in the wrong spot. They're not being decisive on something. They're getting held up, whatever it is. And those things just don't happen with Nakobe. He just like, look, he's going to be out athletic, you know, he's going to be out athletic every once in a while, right? It's just going to happen. But for the most part, he's just so good at being decisive and making those plays that it's just, and like you said, coming back off that injury, you're like, well, what is he going to be now? He was already not the quickest guy. We always knew he was a good blitzer and, you know, a good run defender. But he just solidifies them so much and allows everybody else to just kind of do their thing without having to make up for something, you know, like they don't have to compensate for anything when he's out there and playing like that.
The only way that they can, you know, find or talk themselves into bringing him back in free agency is moving Jihad Campbell to edge. And I, you know, they've tried a couple of times and he just doesn't seem to really
it's not his
play
spot.
that part.
Yeah, it's not his spot.
They've got too many guys to pay.
Right. Right. Sure.
Like they have studs at every single level of this defense. Every level. We already know, Quinyon and Cooper. Like Quinyon is just on another planet right now. He actually might be the best corner in football in this moment. In his second year, he might already be that guy. Cooper is just so smart, so sure. Reed has cemented himself as a safety who can hold together that room. Makuba made mistakes early, but he seems to be coming around. Like you don't see or hear his name in negative light, at least the last few weeks against good offenses, which I think is a really good sign. We've already talked about the linebacker position, and then you look at this defensive line, and it is, Howie just totally remade it. He just totally remade it. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, 5 combined tip balls at the line of scrimmage. They're just playing volleyball out there right now.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about how it was something they like that was scouted and something they worked on. Like that was the game plan. Is like I think it just shows it just and we don't have to use this to transition, but like it just shows the difference in the coaching right now from one side of the ball to the other. Like
Yeah.
the defensive guys like Christian Parker and I forget Clint Hurdle, right? Clint
Clint,
Hurt.
Clint Hurt.
Yeah. And Fangio and the linebackers coach, like those guys are all in sync and looking at the right things and getting their guys in the best positions to excel. Like the Lions have a good offensive line. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis weren't going to like get home on every rush. You know what I mean? Like, but they knew that. And so their plan was, guys, like Jared Goff's not going anywhere. So just keep your eyes on him and get your hands up. And we'll frustrate him and we'll force him into these, tougher and tougher throws. And that played out over the entire night. And when you can get that kind of stuff and the guys trust you to do that and, and they're willing to, like Jalen Carter, of course, wants to go get the quarterback. That's what he's going to get paid lots of money to do.
Yeah.
But if he's willing to do this kind of stuff, like, then he's bought into what the coaches are saying and he believes in what they're telling him and the scouting and like, and believes in like these things will make a difference in games like this against good opponents. And it's just such a difference to how the offense is. Like it's such a dichotomy to how the offense is that, I mean, you see it playing out on the screen about how good the defense is playing and how poorly the offense is.
Yeah, and we're almost there. So hang tight with us.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out Mora Ojimo, who is statistically better than Milton Williams, which is something that might be the only bold prediction I get right.
Yeah, he's playing great.
Out of his mind. But
and when they get 5 fourth down stops?
5 fourth down.
Unbelievable.
Stops. At some point, Dan Campbell had to look in the mirror and punt. Like, what are we talking about here? But so just to say it out loud, because you mentioned the golf thing, the Eagles held Jared Goff to 37.8 completion percentage Monday night, which is the 9th lowest mark by a quarterback who has 35 plus passing attempts since 2005. The 9th lowest completion percentage in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
They had this guy in hell.
Yeah.
For 4 quarters. His feet were all over the place. He was rushing. He could not take that dude out of his little happy dome. And he stinks, Regz. Gibbs was fine. Gibbs had some explosives, mostly in the air.
Yeah.
He was not explosive on the ground. It was mostly in the air.
Screenplays, man. Jesus.
If you take that team's run game away, they are useless offensively. Because Jared Goff, people say Jalen Hurts can't win you a football game. Good Lord. There was not enough Jared Goff slander on Tuesday morning. Not enough. Not enough. He was awful. He was throwing balls in the dirt.
Yeah.
He was airmailing them. He was throwing them yards behind receivers.
Yeah.
He was bad. Bad. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple throws where like they were just gimme throws and he was missing them. And even Collinsworth was like, that is a quarterback that has no idea what's going on tonight. He's like,
no. They had him in hell.
Yeah. And like you said, it really started with not allowing their running game to get going.
Yeah. They got small doses, but most of what Gibbs did came in the passing game.
Yeah.
He was super explosive.
He's really good.
Game. He had 12 carries for 39. Montgomery had 6 for 27. Gibbs was their leading receiver, 5 for 107.
Yeah.
So, and look, I at least want to be semi-fair here. They didn't have Sam Laporta,
Yeah.
who is he's one of their short yardage targets. But look, teams play with injuries all the time. The Eagles do it constantly. They had to do it in this game. They lost a Hall of Fame right tackle in the first quarter and still found a way. Granted, the offense wasn't good anyway, which is the perfect transition because for as garbage as Jared Goff was, the Eagles offense might have been more garbagey. Look, red zone, short field, passing game, running game. I mean, you name drops, you name it. It happened in this game. I mean, they had one possession where I texted you and I was like, if they just called the offense like this for 4 quarters, they'd never lose. And then they go back to calling the offense.
Yeah, right.
And Regz, I feel like this is every week at this point. I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know who's at fault. I don't know who's mad at who. I don't know what the drama really is or why it exists, or when you ask the star receiver, if what he thinks about the locker room being mad at Jalen, and he says, I want to talk about Dallas or ask me questions about Dallas. Why these things have to be so hard, I don't know. But I am so tired. I'm so tired. I watched clips of Shane Steichen in year 2, and I watched AJ Brown running wide open across the middle of the
Yeah.
field.
I mean,
Wide open.
I think that's it. I think it's very clear that the Eagles do not currently possess the offensive coaching to figure this out. I don't know what other conclusion you could draw at this point in an NFL season with professional coaches. Like, I don't know what other conclusion can you draw. They have not proven one bit that they have the ability to adjust and put their players in the best positions to succeed. Look, the offensive line is not playing well. Period.
Right.
That's a fact. That's not a coaching issue. That's a performance issue. Jalen has not been great these past few games. AJ gives up on some routes. Devontae, I will not slander one bit. I love Devontae Smith. Saquon is trying, but like when your line can't hold a run block for more than half a second, it's very difficult. So I don't really put a lot on him.
I do have a question for you real quickly.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I won't slander Saquon. I won't slander Devontae. I do have some AJ slander, but I've already done that. But I have to ask this question. Why is it, at least over these last 2 or 3 games, that while Saquon struggles, the moment Tank comes in, they get like 2 or 3 explosive runs? Why do you think that is?
Know. I don't know.
I can't figure it out. I don't think it's anything.
Do you think defenses like back off a little bit?
Maybe.
That's all I can think of. It was like the first thing that came to my head.
Maybe he just looks like he's a very different style runner. He looks like he's just running it like as hard as he can because he knows there's a wall coming and he's going to do his best to run through it. That's the way he runs.
Yeah.
There's no they also run a lot of counter with him too, which they haven't been doing. But yeah, I'm just I just, when you mentioned it, again, I'm not bashing Saquon. Please don't take it for that. I was just curious, like, it feels like Tank comes in and it's like,
I mean, my first thought would be like the
he
defense
goes.
sort of takes a step back, because it's
Fair.
not Saquon Barkley. And they're probably so keen on it when he is in the game. You have to imagine. I just don't. This offensive coaching staff, like at this point, if you can't figure out 11 weeks into a football season how to get these type of talented players open, then you shouldn't have a job as an offensive coach. Like, it's been enough time now. It's been enough time. We haven't seen adjustments. Half the time it looks like I think Shield said this on one of his podcasts. It's like half the time it looks like the opposing middle linebacker has our green dot. Like, it seems like half the time they're calling out our plays for us, or they know exactly what's going to happen. And they have done nothing to adjust what they're doing. They've done nothing to scheme something guys open. And at this point, I have no idea how Jeffrey Lurie has like contained himself, other than we just won a Super Bowl last year. But if him and Howie aren't thinking like, all right, we had to give Nick his shot to pick the guy because he won the Super Bowl, but this will never happen again.
I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how it happened.
And I don't know. And and we've talked about this, and I brought this up before, so it's not new. And again, I'm not like breaking any ground here. But I just don't know at this point how you don't go find, like, somebody just came out with an article, The Athletic or ESPN or somebody, like the top whatever rising stars like in the NFL from a coaching standpoint. I didn't read the whole thing, but if ESPN can figure that out, I sure as hell hope like Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman know who's on the come up from an offensive standpoint. Just go pay that guy.
I'm gonna disagree.
What's the other solution?
The other solution is find the Vic Fangio of the offense. Like,
yeah, that works too, but like I feel like those guys don't. I mean, I guess what's his name from the Ravens moved over to somewhere, right? Their offensive guy moved.
There are guys who try and go and be a head coach, and they're not good at it, but they're very good coordinators.
Yeah.
If you go get the next rising star, they're going to be gone in a year to be a head coach.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the reason why they just can't gain any traction offensively, because every time they get a guy, that guy gets hired.
Yeah.
Jalen, what is it? What did they showed the graphic on Monday night? Jalen's had only one offensive coordinator for consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
And it was Shane Steichen. And year 2 was Jalen's runner-up for the MVP. That if he didn't get hurt, he probably won the MVP. I don't know who it is. Is it Brian Daboll, who failed as a head coach, but was a really good offensive coordinator in Buffalo? Is it Mike McDaniel, who's probably going to get fired in Miami, but is a really good offensive coordinator that comes from the McVay tree?
Yeah.
Like, could he be an offensive coordinator because he failed as a head coach? To me, that's the type of guy they need to go get. A guy who's tried it as a head coach, failed, and is not going to get another chance, but was a really good coordinator, because that's Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Fangio they wrote a freaking book about him and his defense. Everybody tries to mimic it. Went to be a head coach, failed, and is now arguably the best coordinator in the sport. That, to me, is what they need to do.
Yeah.
I hear you on the
you're right.
The guy, but I don't want to keep losing the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good point.
I don't want to keep losing the guy. Here's another thing, Regz. And I texted you this during the game. I cannot watch Grant Calcaterra block anymore.
Why do they do it so much? Why do they make him do it so much?
Why is Cam Latu not in the game?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean.
And
if that's still like, how can we trust these coaches if this is what they keep doing?
I don't get it. I mean, I sent you 4 clips yesterday.
Yeah.
4 clips of Grant Calcaterra whiffing.
Yeah.
On block. I mean, not even coming close, like totally whiffing on blocks. And it had like the sound effect, whoop, like every time. And I don't understand how we continue to run him out there. I know that the Eagles worked out Zach Pascal this week. who was there in 22 and is like a dirty receiver. And what I mean by that, he's not dirty. He's not afraid to get his nose in and block. And I mentioned this to you during the game the other night that they really miss Johnny Wilson, who they used in that sort of a role. They used him as like a tight end who blocked. He would go in motion and block to open a hole for Saquon. And they don't have that. And I'm not sure why they don't use Cam Latu. They used him on the touchdown that got called where Saquon got called down. And that was
they're
like
using him as a fullback. Why not just use him as the tight end to block? I don't understand.
And the other thing that I wish they would do is freaking spread teams out more.
Yeah.
Like the Lions, they use 3 linebackers. So what do the Eagles do? Run heavy. Why are we running heavy right into their 3 linebacker freaking base defense?
But that's what I mean. I just don't think, for whatever reason, it's
spread them out. The couple of times that they spread them out and went empty, Jalen went for big yards. Now, if you spread them out and keep Saquon in, they still have to worry about Jalen.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I don't know if there's multiple disruptions to this, if it's Patullo's a disruption, the AJ Jalen thing is a disruption, the Jalen not being a leader or a leader that people like is a disruption. Like maybe all of it is true. I don't know. But man, they need a get right game so that this just stops.
Yeah.
For one freaking week, I just need a break. They are 8-2, and they are the most exhausting 8-2 I've ever experienced.
I mean, again, I can understand why it's frustrating when guys are that, like, they know they're good. Like, those guys know they're good. And they've been to the top of the mountain and done it. But, like, they can't, like, the trust I just talked about that the defensive coaches have, the offensive coaches don't. Like, their guys don't trust them anymore. And that's just like where we're at. And I don't know what changes that. If Twitter film guys are figuring stuff out, NFL coaches should have had it a week ago. You know what I mean? Like Grant Calcaterra being a bad blocker is not a new thing. So how, like, they can watch the play the second it's over. How could you watch those plays and keep calling those, like, and keep putting him out there to do that?
At some point, you got to hold him accountable to not doing his job. Like,
Right, but that's what I mean. How is it possible that can't happen? Like, how is it possible that he still keeps going out there to do what he's terrible at? And he's been terrible at for a long time. He's never been good at this.
And back to the play calling aspect, and then I guess we can talk about the Cowboys. I don't know if there's much else to talk about here offensively. This kind of puts it all into perspective. The professor, our buddy, the professor, put out a tweet, and I actually appreciated this because it sums up everything. It was 2 visuals. One was a visual of the 4th down play that the Lions ran on like the 4. And the other was a visual of a 3rd and like 9 that the Eagles ran in like the middle of the field. The Lions had like 4 different routes happening, 2 over the middle of the field that were like crossers, but at different levels. They had like different levels on the outside, all sorts of things happening, right? All sorts. And if you watch the replay, the tight end is wide open coming across the middle of the field because of all the different things that are happening. Meanwhile, on 3rd and 9 in the middle of the field, the Eagles ran 2 hitches, a skinny post right into 2 safeties, and a flat route with the tight end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't.
And you know, you'll text me, how is no one open? Because that's the route tree.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned that someone's wearing the green dot. The corners aren't threatened at all.
Right.
There was a shot of Rocky Sin on an AJ route where he doesn't even worry about an in breaking route.
Yeah.
His whole body is positioned toward the sideline because he's not concerned for even a second that they're going to run an in breaking route, because the Eagles don't run anything over the middle of the field unless it's a slant.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the only thing they'll run to the middle of the field. And that's not technically that's still like a difficult throw.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming across Jalen's face. Nothing. Unless it's 30 yards downfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just don't know at this point how it changes without somebody changing.
But Regz, like, think about the Rams game. In the second half, it was a totally different offense.
Yeah, I don't know.
I swear to God, they're so, like, I swear to you that I feel like Nick is just this arrogant. Like, he feels like they can win doing bare minimum, and then in the playoffs, they just bust it loose. Think about what they did to the Commanders and to the Chiefs. It was a totally different look.
I mean, I hope that's true. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what else it can be at this point.
Whatever. All right. Cowboys this week.
Yeah.
It's Cowboys week. The Cowboys are, well, maybe it's Dak. I feel like it's Dak. 21-2 in their last 23 games at home against NFC East opponents. So what is that? That's like the last 7 seasons.
Yeah.
At this point, 7+ seasons that they've played. They're 21-2 at home against the NFC East. That is insane. And the Eagles have not had much luck.
Yeah.
At that stadium recently. It's been difficult to go there and win. Look, the offense in Dallas is clicking. There is no secret to that. They've got a ton of weapons. Javonte Williams is having a resurgence at the running back position. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are a very difficult duo to deal with on a game in, game out basis. And that tight end, that Ferguson cat, is real tough, especially in the red zone. The offense is very, very good. Very, very good. The defense stinks.
Yeah.
And I know that, if you see Cowboy fans this week, they're like, Quinnen Williams and, so on and so forth. Can we just pause for a second? You played the Raiders.
Yeah. They're literally the war. Like, they might be the worst team I've ever seen.
It was the Raiders. Like, let's not. And what I feel like they still put up some points. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying that the Eagles offense is going to come in and blow the doors off of that place, because I just have no confidence in this offense right now.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that Cowboy fans should know is that if it is something that happens, it's not you, it's us. It is the ultimate "it's not you, it's me" thing. If the Eagles go in there and struggle. So the Eagles are 3.5 point favorites, believe it or not, in this game. And I do think that the defense might give them some hell. Give Dak in this offense some hell. I think, this is the worst offensive line of the 3 that they've played since the bye week. I mean, what Jalen Phillips did to Penei Sewell this week was a masterclass.
Really? Yeah, like crazy.
And the Cowboys don't have a Penei Sewell. Those are the best guards. Tyler Decker and Penei Sewell are the best guards that are the best tackles that the Eagles will see the rest of this year. And they ate those guys for breakfast. Decker and Sewell looked terrible for 4 quarters. So there's a good chance that they can get Dak, get to Dak a couple of times. Dak is someone that pressure doesn't really bother Dak a whole lot. He can get out, he can get the ball out. He's big.
Yeah.
You know, he's not easy to take down. So, you know, they're gonna have to hit him a bunch. But I do think, you know, I'd consider Quinion following not CD. I'd consider Quinion following Pickens.
Isn't that what they did in the first game?
They did it for part of the game.
Yeah.
And then they made some changes. But I would consider it in this one because I think CD is gonna get his no matter what. But CD lines up in the slot a lot more. So you know, maybe Coop can you know, somewhat hold him down. But I think Pickens and Dak have gotten a thing going recently, and I'd try and take Pickens away.
Yeah.
I really would. I also think that some of the issues they were having came from not having Jalen Carter and not having Jalen Carter suddenly in that game. So hopefully this time he'll be smart and not, you know, spit in Dak's face. And
I
that,
think
that
hopefully with Nakobe, like the run defense is now better. They didn't do a great job against the run in that first game.
And some of that was also Jalen too.
Sure.
You know, they were down a tackle because of that. So they sub-wise were a little messy. You know, having Brandon Graham helps with the run.
Yeah.
Jalen Phillips is good against the run. You know, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter together are just a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
For teams. So, and you're right, having Nakobe and Zach Bond together on the field is something special to watch. So let's do our thing here.
All right.
Keys.
Let's do it.
We'll do some keys here. I'll kick it off. Regz, I think for me, the key to this one is having early success offensively. I think if they can get off to a good start and score quickly in this one, and I would almost like to see, I'm gonna say it. I would like to see an early touchdown to AJ Brown and an early touchdown that Saquon Barkley takes to the house somehow. I think if they can spring those two things, then I think that would be huge for their confidence. I do believe the defense is going to be more than fine in this one, but I'm not more than fine. I think Dallas will score, but I think the Eagles just need a get right game. And I do believe it starts with AJ and Saquon getting in the end zone early in this one and building off of that.
Yeah. Mine's going to stay on the defensive side. I think that I want to see the key is like this defensive line keeping the pressure up, keeping the pressure on Dak. We know he's really good, but like you said, that offensive line isn't the best. And I just hope they keep playing well and keeping that pressure up. Like, keep making it hard. He stood back there like forever when they first played us and just kind of had whatever he wanted. So I really want to see them dial it up and throw him off a little bit and see if we can't force him, you know, make him throw. He throws a ball or two. He's good for a ball or two. Like, that isn't the best that we maybe can get our hands on. So I think doing that and maybe causing a turnover here or there would be really big.
Get him moving his feet a little bit and uncomfortable and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. So Birds are 3.5 point favorites.
All right.
It's a 47.5 total. So I've got birds in this one. I got them 31-20.
All right.
Taking the over.
24-21 Eagles.
24-21.
Yep.
All right, 24-21 for Regz. 31-20 for your boy Azzy. Update on our game. You're winning 68-62 as of the moment. We both have the Eagles winning this one.
Okay.
But I would take a 3-point swing here. So with a win, you'd be up 3. But you can easily swing that back because you have 14 on Chicago on Friday and I only have 6. So This one could swing it back
All right.
quite a bit. So a big one here coming. This I need this one to stay in it for when you get that swing.
They better beat freaking Chicago. Jesus.
Well, I mean, if they win this one and then beat Chicago, they're pretty much a lock for the division. At that point, they only have to win 2 more games and they clinch the division.
Yeah.
But for me right now, it's that bye.
Absolutely.
Because I think they're gonna do their darndest to keep Lane sitting for the remainder of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I know he played a little bit against Green Bay, but like again, no Micah Parsons and without Lane Johnson certainly helps. Certainly helps.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at what's left on their schedule, there's not a whole lot of pass rushers left. Dallas obviously does their pass rushing comes from their interior for the most part.
Yeah.
Chicago has a couple of pass rushers. The Chargers have Khalil Mack. Vegas has Crosby.
Yep.
Washington doesn't really have anyone, and Buffalo has what's his face, the idiot from Bosa.
Oh yeah.
But by the time you get to the Buffalo game, it might not even matter.
Yeah.
By the time
and you
got to
think they're gonna chip Crosby a lot because he's basically all they got.
Yeah, you're probably doubling there. I mean, look, I Fred Johnson has been more than playable.
He has been, absolutely.
He's, even last year, I saw a stat today and I couldn't believe it. I forgot to text it to you. But they were 5-1 last year in Fred Johnson starts.
I did not realize that.
Neither did I. All at right tackle.
Good for 5-1. Good for Fred. He seems like a great dude. So I'm happy for him.
There's Zach Berman wrote an article about him on The Athletic this week and just talked about, how he wanted to be here, but he thought he was going to go somewhere else and start. Teammates thought he was going to go somewhere else and start. Didn't happen. Ended up back here, and he loves it here, man. He's always on the social media stuff, and
here he is starting. Here he is,
and he's going to probably start for the rest of the regular season.
God,
so
I hate losing Lane. Sucks.
So do I. But imagine if they didn't bring Fred back, because
oh my God,
it would be
it would not be good. Yeah. You know what? Here's a weird thing I've been thinking about. I haven't liked Lane's beard one bit since he started it. I think Juju changer. I think it's got to go. Yep.
All right, Lane, you heard it. Regz is telling
I didn't like it. Haven't liked it from the minute I saw it. I don't know why.
I'm mad at it.
But I think we need a Juju changer, and I think that's the thing.
Well, maybe while he's gone.
Maybe.
Cam Jurgens did practice today, so looks like he might be available to start.
Him and Landon have just not been very good.
They're just both.
They're very hurt. I understand, and that stinks. But they just have not been very good.
They are warriors, though. They're out there trying.
They are.
That's for sure.
They are
out there trying. I mean, got to have 5 linemen, right?
Yep.
So
that's what they tell us.
Landon's been a little bit better recently. Still not what we're used to. Cam has not been good. Even Jordan hasn't been.
Yeah, he hasn't been great.
Good. I mean, Steen is the only one that you look at and you're like, all right, he's been relatively consistent. Like,
at the very least, we're not talking about him.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not been Mekhi Becton good, but at least we haven't been talking about like, oh my God, Steen like did it again or whatever.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it hasn't been like that. All right, man. Well, hey, glad we could jump on tonight. We'll touch base next week because they play on Friday. So
that's right.
We're gonna have to find a day to do it because it ain't gonna be Thursday. So we'll be back at some point next week. I would think. Look for it in your feeds on Wednesday, or maybe you get it on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Who knows? But until then, Make sure you click subscribe here on the YouTube channel and jump to wherever you get your podcasts. Do the same thing. Check out social media at the Mic Drop 5 at Big Regz with a Z, at the Phixated Podcast on Instagram, the Phixated fan page on Facebook, and at the Phixated Pod on TikTok. Merchandise link in the show description. We will catch up with you next week. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you're spending it with some family and friends before you spend Thanksgiving with your family and friends. Until next week, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We love you. And we'll see you then. Go Birds.
F them Cowboys.
Oh my God, deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.